Have you ever looked at your life and felt as though you were watching a film you have already seen 1,000 times before? The same faces, the same reactions, the same heavy clouds of emotion hanging over every morning. We often tell ourselves that tomorrow will be different, that some external shift or some stroke of luck will finally break the cycle, yet the scenery remains stubbornly the same. It is a strange, quiet tragedy to live the same year 80 times and call it a life, but this is the state of the modern mind. We are trapped in a loop, not because the world is demanding it of us, but because the architecture of our inner world has become cluttered with the debris of 1,000 distractions. We have become passengers in a vehicle driven by habit, gazing out of windows that have become so frosted with the breath of our anxieties that we can no longer see the horizon. The truth is that your reality does not change because of what you do in the outside world. It shifts because of the quality of the current flowing through you. Imagine for a moment that your consciousness is not a machine to be fixed or a vessel to be filled, but a living stream. In its natural state, this stream is clear, rhythmic, and powerful, capable of carving through stone and reflecting the vastness of the sky. But in our modern existence, we have allowed the bed of this river to become choked with the silt of constant noise and the jagged rocks of artificial stimulation. We are not broken, we are simply stagnant. We are trying to navigate a landscape that we have forgotten how to tend to. If you feel stuck, it is not because you lack the will to move, but because the water has stopped flowing. What if the secret to an extraordinary existence was not found in the pursuit of more, but in the radical act of subtraction? We live in an age that worships the additive. More information, more speed, more dopamine, more connections. We have been taught that to grow, we must constantly pile new layers upon our shoulders. Yet, the oldest wisdom suggests the opposite. The great masters of the past did not look for answers in the marketplace. They found them in the desert, in the silence, and in the rhythm of their own breath. They understood that the mind is not a warehouse to be stocked, but a sanctuary to be cleared. Today we are going to explore a blueprint for that clearing, a manual for the architecture of the unseen that governs everything you experience. Consider the modern mirage of dopamine, that invisible currency that keeps us chained to our devices and our desires. We have become addicts of the immediate, chasing the small flashes of artificial light that leave us feeling darker and emptier than before. Every notification, every mindless scroll, every hollow interaction is like a handful of sand thrown into your living stream. It creates a temporary ripple, a brief illusion of movement, but ultimately, it only adds to the stagnation. We are suffering from a poverty of attention, and because our attention is scattered, our energy is fractured. We are trying to build a cathedral on a foundation of shifting sand, wondering why the walls keep crumbling. To shift your life forever, you must first stop trying to rearrange the furniture of your circumstances and start addressing the ground upon which they stand. This is not about a new set of rules or a rigid discipline that feels like a prison. It is about a homecoming. It is about returning to a state of being where your focus is a laser instead of a mist, where your movements are intentional instead of reactive, and where your internal world is so clear that it begins to dictate the shape of your external reality. We are going to dismantle the structures that no longer serve you and reclaim the space necessary for your true potential to breathe. What follows is not merely a collection of habits, but a series of recalibration rituals designed to return you to your natural frequency, a frequency that is currently buried under years of rush and artificial noise. We will look at the power hidden in movement, the revelation found in silence, and the alchemy of the written word. We will discuss why living opposite the crowd is the only way to remain awake in a world that is desperately trying to put you to sleep. This is your invitation to step out of the current of the unconscious and into the stream of the living. Let us begin the process of unlearning, for only in the void of what we let go can the new reality begin to take form. If the idea of reclaiming your own mind resonates with you, perhaps it is time we continue this hunt together. The journey toward clarity is not a destination you reach, but a path you choose to walk every single day. The first pillar of this architectural restoration begins with something so deceptively simple that most people dismiss it before they even try. It is the ritual of the feet, the ancient medicine of walking. In our modern world, we move through space as if it were an obstacle to be overcome, a distance between 2 points of productivity. We rush from our homes to our cars, from our desks to our gyms, always treating the act of movement as a means to an end. But when you walk with the sole intention of movement, something profound begins to happen within the living stream of your mind. Walking is not just a physical act, it is the process of physically moving through your own thoughts. Every step you take is a rhythmic pulse that begins to break up the stagnant pools of energy that accumulate when we remain sedentary and overstimulated. Consider how the rhythm of your footsteps creates a natural cadence for your psyche. When you walk, especially in a natural setting, you are literally syncing your internal clock with the slow, ancient timing of the earth. There is a specific kind of healing that occurs when you are no longer rushing toward a destination. This is why the great thinkers of history often did their best work while on foot. The movement of the legs untangles the knots in the brain. If you find yourself stuck in a cycle of repetitive emotions or creative blocks, your first act of rebellion should be to walk. Not for the sake of exercise or heart rates, but for the sake of clearing the silt from your riverbed. Try this as a practical recalibration. Walk for 30 minutes every day without a destination, and most importantly, without your phone. Feel the weight of your feet hitting the ground. Notice how the air feels on your skin. At first, your mind will scream for stimulation, but if you persist, the noise will begin to settle and the water will begin to clear. This leads us into the second sanctuary of the unseen architecture, the reclamation of silence. We have become a society that is terrified of a quiet room. We fill every gap in our day with the chatter of others, podcasts while we drive, music while we cook, the glow of the screen before we sleep. We tell ourselves we are learning or being entertained, but the reality is that we are using noise as a shield to protect us from the discomfort of our own company. Silence is not an empty space. It is a fertile soil, and until you learn to sit in it, you will never truly know the sound of your own voice. The noise we consume is like a layer of dust on a mirror. The more you allow it to accumulate, the less you can see of your true reflection. To practice the art of silence is to perform a detox of the soul. It is about creating a zero point in your day where no information is coming in. Imagine your mind as a glass of muddy water. If you keep shaking the glass and adding more dirt, the water will stay brown and opaque. But if you set the glass down and let it be still, the sediment will naturally sink to the bottom, and the water will become transparent. This is what silence does. It allows the artificial stimulation to settle, so you can see what lies beneath. A simple way to integrate this is to choose one activity every day to perform in absolute silence. Eat your lunch without a screen. Wash the dishes without a podcast. Sit in your chair for 10 minutes after you wake up before you touch your phone. These small pockets of stillness are where your intuition begins to breathe again. You will start to notice things you have overlooked for years. The way the light hits a wall, the subtle shifts in your own mood, the quiet whispers of your creativity that have been drowned out by the roar of the digital world. Now, we must address the most aggressive predator of our internal peace, the modern dopamine trap. Our biology was designed for a world of scarcity, where a reward was earned through effort and patience. Today, we live in a world of infinite, instant gratification. We have hijacked our own reward systems with endless scrolls, likes, and short-form videos that offer a quick hit of pleasure, followed by a long, hollow crash. This is the ultimate obstructor of the living stream. When your brain is constantly flooded with artificial dopamine, your ability to focus on anything meaningful withers away. Your attention becomes like a candle in a windstorm, flickering and weak, unable to hold a steady flame. To gain back your power, you must initiate a fast of the mind. A dopamine detox is not about punishing yourself. It is about resetting your baseline for what feels rewarding. When you constantly chase high-intensity stimulation, the simple joys of life, a good book, a deep conversation, the satisfaction of a finished task, begin to feel boring. You lose your edge. To reclaim it, you must be willing to be bored. Try a 24-hour digital fast once a week. Turn off all notifications except for phone calls. You will feel a strange restlessness, a phantom itch to check your pockets, and this is exactly where the healing begins. It is the sensation of your nervous system recalibrating itself. As the artificial fog lifts, you will find that your focus becomes a sharp instrument again. You will be able to work deeply, think clearly, and engage with the world with a presence that most people have lost. Remember, attention is the only true currency you have. If you give it away for free to every app and advertiser, you will always be poor in spirit. The fourth station of our journey is the alchemy of the hand, the practice of writing. In a world of digital clouds and fleeting texts, The act of putting pen to paper is a sacred grounding ritual. When you write by hand, there is a neural connection between your movement and your memory that a keyboard can never replicate. You are quite literally taking an invisible, chaotic thought and anchoring it into the physical world through the medium of ink and fiber. This is how you give shape to your energy. Most people walk around with a clouded mind because they are trying to hold too many thoughts at once. Writing is the process of offloading that weight so you can see what is actually there. Start a daily practice of the page, a place where you can be honest without an audience. This is not about being a writer. It is about being a witness to your own life. Write down your frustrations, your goals, and the strange synchronicities you notice throughout your day. When you write a goal by hand, you are making a contract with your subconscious. You are telling your mind that this particular thought is important enough to be materialized. Over time, you will notice that the things you write about have a strange way of manifesting in your reality. This isn't magic. It is the result of clarity. By writing it down, you have focused the lens of your attention so sharply that you begin to see opportunities that were always there, but were previously hidden by the blur of your mental chatter. Finally, we must discuss the necessity of living opposite the crowd. The mainstream current of our society is designed to keep you in a state of consumption and comparison. It glorifies the hustle, the noise, and the constant accumulation of things. But if you look closely at those who are following that current, you will often find a deep underlying exhaustion. To shift your energy, you must be willing to look unproductive by the world's standards so that you can be truly effective by your own. Living opposite the crowd means choosing subtraction when everyone else is choosing addition. It means saying no to the social obligations that drain you, no to the news cycles that paralyze you, and no to the trends that hollow you out. This subtraction is not a loss. It is a profound gain of space. When you stop trying to keep up with the frantic pace of the collective, you find that your own natural pace is much more sustainable and far more powerful. You begin to move with the Wu Wei, the art of effortless action. You work when your energy is high, you rest when it is low, and you stop forcing your life to fit a schedule that was never yours to begin with. This is where your sovereignty lives. By protecting your time, your curiosity, and your energy from the demands of the crowd, you become a lighthouse in a sea of fog. People will wonder why you seem so calm, why you seem so focused, and why your life seems to unfold with such grace. The secret is simply that you have stopped fighting the river and have started tending to the stream. This process of recalibration is not a one-time event. It is a way of inhabiting your own skin. It requires you to be the guardian of your own attention and the architect of your own environment. If you can master these simple, practical rituals, walking in rhythm, honoring silence, fasting from distraction, and writing your truth, you will find that the architecture of your unseen world begins to transform, and as the internal landscape changes, the external world has no choice but to follow. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable will begin to dissolve, and the path forward will reveal itself with a clarity you never thought possible. As we stand at the precipice of this deeper understanding, we must confront a final, breathtaking paradox that recontextualizes everything we have discussed. We often speak of shifting our energy as if it were a task to be performed, a mountain to be climbed, or a distant shore to be reached through sheer effort. But what if the greatest secret of the living stream is that you are not the one doing the shifting? What if the goal of every silent walk, every hour of digital fasting, and every word written in the quiet of the morning is not to change who you are, but to allow the you that has always existed to finally be seen? Imagine for a moment that your life is not a journey toward a better version of yourself, but a process of archaeological excavation. Beneath the layers of social programming, the sediment of digital noise, and the heavy dust of artificial dopamine, there is a core of absolute clarity that has never been touched by the chaos of the world. This is the architect of the unseen. It does not need to learn how to be calm. It is calmness itself. It does not need to search for purpose. It is the very essence of purpose. The shift we seek is not a transformation, but a revelation. It is the moment the water becomes so still and so clear that the reflection of the sky and the depths of the riverbed become one and the same. This realization carries with it a profound and perhaps even frightening responsibility. If your internal architecture truly dictates the shape of your external world, then you can no longer play the role of the victim in your own story. You are no longer a leaf caught in a storm, but the wind itself. When you choose to unplug from the collective hysteria and reclaim your attention, you are not just improving your life in a superficial sense, you are reclaiming your sovereignty over reality. You are deciding which thoughts are worthy of becoming things. You are choosing which version of existence will manifest through the lens of your awareness. Think of the implications of this power. Every time you choose silence over noise, you are casting a vote for a world of depth over a world of surface. Every time you choose to move your body in rhythm with the earth instead of rushing through the streets in a daze, you are aligning yourself with a cosmic order that transcends the petty timelines of the marketplace. This is the true meaning of living opposite the crowd. It is not an act of arrogance or isolation. It is an act of high-level stewardship. You are tending to the only piece of the universe you have been given total authority over, your own consciousness. But here is where the mystery deepens even further. If we are the architects and our attention is the tool of creation, what is the ultimate purpose of this grand design? Perhaps the reason we feel so restless in the noise and so at home in the silence is because we are part of a much larger living intelligence that is trying to wake up through us. When you clear your stream, you aren't just doing it for yourself. You are becoming a clearer channel for the universe to experience its own beauty and its own complexity. Your clarity becomes a gift to everyone you encounter. Your peace becomes a silent invitation for others to lay down their burdens and remember who they are. We are often told that the world is a cold, indifferent place, governed by luck and struggle. But when you master the architecture of the unseen, you begin to see a different truth. You start to notice that the universe is remarkably responsive to the quality of your presence. It is as if life itself has been waiting for you to stop shouting so that it can finally whisper its secrets to you. The abundance you seek, the clarity you crave, and the peace you have been chasing are not things you acquire. They are the natural byproducts of a mind that has returned to its center. So we are left with a final echoing question that sits at the heart of our hunt. If you were to truly let go of the noise, if you were to drop the shield of constant distraction and stand naked before the silence of the cosmos, who would be left standing there? What would your life look like if you stopped trying to build a future and started allowing the present to be enough? The answer is not something that can be told. It is something that can only be lived. The stream is moving, the architecture is waiting, and the choice to step into the flow is yours and yours alone. And that is our hunt for now, a wild mix of documented history and tantalizing what-ifs based on bibliographical sources. What do you think? If these ideas resonate with you, consider subscribing so we can continue this journey together. Liked this journey? Hit subscribe for more mysteries.